Our next question was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from John Campopiano.
What?
In Boston, Massachusetts.
That sounds like either a brand of Italian seasoning or a off-color sexual act.
I think that's how you say his name. John Campopiano, Boston, Massachusetts. I was wondering, can you talk about Curtis Hughes? Specifically his stint as Big Cat in WCW and as Mr. Hughes in the WWF. What kind of worker was he? I also know he had short stints in the USWA and ECW. Thank you for your time. Love the show.
Actually, I've met Curtis Hughes a number of times, a lot of these fan fests and everything, and I think he was he up in the WWF for a real short session?
He was there in 93. I don't remember if he was still there when you came in, but he was there in 93 because they had him set up for a feud with The Undertaker.
Yeah, I think we passed in the night there, and then he lost a lot of size, lost a lot of weight later on. I've seen him at conventions, but nice guy, and he was a good worker, I thought, for the time that he was in the business. And a guy of that size, he kind of was like the Black Big Bubba Rogers gimmick, the suit and the sunglasses, hat, bodyguard type. The reason I laughed when I first heard you mention his name is because I just love the story. I think I've told it before, but what the fuck? I've told a lot of these before. When he was Lex Luger's bodyguard, Mr. Hughes, they were this was at a time where, WCW was spending a lot of money on Luger and on the top guys like that. So they had Luger staying at Marriott's and, nice 4-star hotels. And he was getting paid a bunch of money, right? Mr. Hughes was not being compensated like that. But what he would do, because he was on TV as Lex Luger's bodyguard, and the front desk clerk knew that Lex Luger, Larry Fole, the big WCW wrestling superstar, was staying in their fucking hotel. How do you miss Luger when he walks in? So Curtis Hughes would after the matches, would go to the desk clerk of the hotel that Luger was staying in, that WCW was paying for, and say, I'm Lex Luger's bodyguard, and I'm going to be here in the lobby overnight. And he'd sleep on the couch in the lobby for free. And they'd look over him because, that's that big bodyguard for that wrestler. And then the next morning he'd get up and go in the bathroom and splash his fucking face and he free night in the fucking hotel. I mean, you pick up on these things as you get on the road, like everybody was back in those days. But no, I thought from what I saw of his matches, he could move. He was a good athlete, and that size, he looked like a grown man, and he could strike some fear into some people, but he didn't have that super long of a career.
And I guess famously, he was a narcoleptic.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's another reason why it was so easy for him to go to sleep in the lobby of the fucking hotels, because he nodded off in the corner sometimes in a tag match. Or if he was managing, they would look over, and because he had narcolepsy, and he'd be asleep, standing there. Hey, Curtis. I mean, I've seen a lot of fucking matches, especially over the last few years, that I would like to have gone to sleep watching, but I've never actually gone to sleep in the middle of being in the middle of a match.
Is that why he wrestled? I mean, I hadn't thought about this. Is that why he wrestled with his sunglasses on? Because he was a narcoleptic?
No way. He might go to sleep standing in the corner on a tag match or in the corner as a manager, but he wouldn't actually go to sleep when he was in the middle of something like that. The opponent would wake him up. But no, it looked good. It fit the gimmick. I should have thought of that for Big Bubba, but I don't know. That may have been cartoon for Bubba.
There was some sort of wrestling hotline, I remember, in like 1994 or 1993 here in New York. There were always free wrestling hotlines popping up, and this one had like a wrestling trivia contest you had to answer. And I always remember the question because it was, when Lex Luger entered the World Wrestling Federation, what was his name? A, the narcissist, B, the narcoleptic, or C, the narc? I still remember that to this day.
That's like the fucking $100 question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's like, let's give it, if you have a pulse, you can answer this. Just, we want to get you in the door. Did you see I can't remember what the question was, and it was years ago, but somebody actually missed the $250 question, or was it 200? The second question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Missed it. And even old Regis was like, are you sure you want that to be your final? Yeah, final answer, Regis. You're really positive you want that to be? And he's kicking the guy in the shins. Yeah, final answer.